It is Friday morning, and so you know what we do just after 8 o'clock. Friday Foodies, where we talk with our local restaurateurs and chefs about their menus, their history, their signature dishes. And I got to tell you, very excited to have Jeff Spencer of Just Jeff's here in studio. Morning, Jeff.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's so good to have you in here. And honestly, Just Jeff's was one of the places that I was thinking about when we were kind of organizing and putting this together, because your success story is pretty impressive, Jeff. I mean, when did it all start for you, the food process?
It started, when I was 23 years old. I started just learning how to be a home cook, cooking on a barbecue grill. Later on, people called me at the lake and go, hey, you want to come down and cook for the weekend? And so we just kind of grew like that, and they just built confidence in my food abilities. I'd never worked in a restaurant.
Is that right?
So, no, I've never spent a minute as a job.
So there's no real culinary training. And
no.
It's just, yeah.
Oh, it just turned out I put a good product on the street and people loved it.
Well, you do have a good product, and a lot of comfort food. Just Jeff's fan club that is out there is large, and we'll get into the burgers and what's on the menu and where that all fits into the Columbia scene. But it's more for you than just hamburgers. You guys do a lot of catering, and there's a lot of community involvement that Just Jeff's is involved in. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Catering is a huge thing for us. We use several companies here in town use us on a regular basis. Veterans United, we are connected with the Missouri football team. We do a lot of catering with them. Matter of fact, later on this afternoon, we'll be delivering their lunch to the tarmac as they fly out.
I bet the football players can put away some hamburgers.
Yeah, about 500 of them.
They get after it. That's serious. And of course, when you make your burgers, and we'll get into this, but it's not just one size fits all. I mean, these are very specific burgers. People are making them, you order them the way you like them, yep. And that's kind of been your style.
Exactly. Even when it was just a hot dog cart, I always handmade every part of it and handed them. I didn't want them to hold up my line putting on ketchup and mustard. I could control the whole process from the beginning to the end if I just took care of it all the way, and it provided a little bit special service, a little different, something a little different. And that's kind of what we do at Just Jeff's. We just want to give you a little bit better service than what you're normally going to get. And we're not fast food, but it's fast casual.
Yeah, it's not slow.
Yeah, we ran 7-minute ticket times today, so we're pretty quick to get them out there.
And you get open pretty early. What time do you guys get going?
We open it. We start our crew gets there at 9. We open at 10, and we are open till 3:05 every day.
Every day.
We take orders Tuesday through Saturday.
And we're talking about Just Jeff's on the business loop right in front of the Parkade Plaza.
Correct. Been there for 9 years.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
How did the pandemic affect you guys?
We had 2 stores at the time. We had a south location in Green Meadows, which literally the town split. We had the north half of the town where the essential workers, the south half of the town, everybody just stayed home. So our business loop was thriving, and we didn't have any of the restrictions because we were outdoor dining. I stood out front of the place and said 6 foot away, please stand 6 foot away. But our business loop flourished through the pandemic. Everybody had to immediately do a switch to takeout.
Yeah. We've
been doing takeout for years.
Yeah.
They all didn't do a very good job. And we just kept being consistent and kept doing it, and we did great, really. I mean, honestly, I hate to say that. I know a lot of businesses failed. We ended up closing the South store eventually after that, but that was more due to rent than it was not having a lack of customers.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad to hear that, because when I mentioned that you were going to possibly be on the show with me, I had quite a few people mention they missed the South location. They'll go to the business loop, but boy, they loved that South location for a while.
Yeah, it was never a lack of customers. It just came down to dollars and cents, and we were kind of robbing the business loop of customers for the indoor seating and stuff like that. It's a great model, but to be sustainable and profitable, we had to just back it back down to 1 store, and we increased our catering, and we're out doing that 3 or 4 nights a week now.
We're talking with Jeff Spencer. He is the owner, operator of Just Jeff's, and been in business in Columbia for a while. It has definitely joined the conversation for the best burgers in Columbia, and that is an ongoing conversation that's been going on for decades here, and I love that you guys have kind of become a part of that conversation.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of hard work, and we got a good crew behind us that makes that happen for us.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, Jeff. We got to pay some bills of our own. We'll come back. We get the forecast from Beth, that, listen to some music, and then we'll come back and talk more with Jeff Spencer of Just Jeff's. We're going to talk menu next, signature dishes, and what's his favorite. So it's Friday Foodies on a Friday morning on 102.3 BXR. We're continuing our conversation with Jeff Spencer of Just Jeff's, the food cart turned business loop restaurant in the front of the Parkade Plaza. And Jeff, I can't wait to start talking to you about some of the food specifically because, when you order a burger at Jeff's, it's the classic is the double cheeseburger.
Correct.
But then you dose it up with all the stuff. You got to put all the toppings on it. And your list of toppings is... it's impressive. I don't know how else to put it.
We really focus on keeping it fresh. That's the thing. We don't hold anything over, so we love to have the options, but our main key is to make sure that it's fresh every single day. We buy all our produce is fresh. Anything that we can get our hands on locally, or like the Amish, we buy our tomatoes. Still buy tomatoes from the Amish, and people are always commenting. What's the deal with your tomatoes? Well, we invest a little bit more money and we get a better product.
Yeah. And you're doing business locally, which is obviously great for all of us. The burgers are delicious. I personally love getting the sport onions, the sport peppers. Oh, yeah. Man.
That's a Chicago staple.
Grill those things up. And since you brought up Chicago, let's talk a little bit about the Chicago part of this menu, because a lot of people don't know, you guys probably have the best Chicago dogs in town.
Yeah, we have the only real Chicago dog in town.
That's true.
We focus very much on being very authentic. If I tell you I'm going to give you a Chicago dog, it's going to have the correct poppy seed bun. It's not going to be an off-brand. It's going to have the right hot dog. It's going to have, I even order all the way down to the pickle, the relish, everything that comes in there, and then with the farm fresh tomatoes on top of it, it's just absolutely delicious.
Do you get that neon relish? That is an unnatural color, Jeff. I was just going to say, ever since I've had a Chicago dog, I thought that relish is something.
On the hot dog cart, it was quite the stopper, because people would have to stop and ask what it was, and then I could sell them a double cheeseburger.
Hot dogs, burgers, but that's not all. You get the steak sandwich, which is super popular.
Yeah.
And what's the process for the steak sandwich? Kind of put us through the process of cooking that.
It's kind of we use a char grill, so we have a char grill, and it's probably one of my more popular menus on the item.
Oh yeah.
And then we cook it to either medium or medium rare. It's a 6-ounce steak. We toast the bun. It's got grilled peppers, grilled onions, and cream cheese, which is just when it comes together, it's just delicious.
That is delicious. And then, lately online in the social media, it seems like every influencer out there has got portion of their page dedicated to finding the perfect pork tenderloin sandwich. It's got to be big. It's got to be delicious. What's yours?
Yeah, my wife and my cook, my manager, go in every morning and they hand cut those. They trim those out of the loins. They trim only the white meat out. It's as lean as you'll ever get a piece of meat. We hand butterfly them. We run them through our tenderizer machine, and then we hand bread them. And that's done on a daily basis. I'm originally from Northern Iowa, and that was a staple growing up for me. So when I put that on the plate, I want to make sure that it's as good as it should be. And we also do that in a grill version, which is extremely healthy. Coming out of a cheeseburger restaurant, it's kind of hard to say next to some of the other stuff. But we do a really great grilled pork tenderloin as well that's hand cut.
We're talking with Jeff Spencer of Just Jeff's. Hamburgers, hot dogs, steak sandwiches, pork tenderloin sandwiches. And, we mentioned the conversation because for as long as I can remember, ever since I moved to Columbia, there's been that talk of where's the best hamburger, and then and we've had Booch's on, and that was kind of the original, and then billiards kind of came into the conversation, but you kind of threw everybody on their ear, and now Just Jeff's is definitely in that conversation.
I think we kind of did it a little different, I appreciate that, and I love Booch's, and those are my friends. I've been going there for years. I still go there on for regular soup Fridays and stuff like that. I know all those guys, and I never stepped into the game to ever be their competition. I just wanted to give somebody another option, something that I preferred as a child. That was this burger that a lady I knew made, and that's kind of how it happened. But this is a long story. And there actually, I don't know if it's okay to say this, but I have a podcast on Slack chat.
Okay.
Just do Slack chat, Jeff Spencer. And it's about, I don't want to waste anybody's time, but it's about an hour and a half.
Okay.
I did it 4 or 5 years ago, right when I was opening the South store. So it's a little bit dated, but it really kind of gives the story from the beginning to the present, how Just Jeff's happened.
Delicious. That's all I can say. Just great food. And what's next for Just Jeff's? I mean, are there plans for the future? Are you kind of playing it by ear? Or
I don't really see us doing anything. I mean, we're just doing so well at the business loop, and it works so well for us. I just want to stay there and keep that going. I don't have any really future plans for Just Jeff's. Who knows? I may have some other plans in the works for something else, but
all right.
My wife doesn't know yet, so we won't.
All right. Well, you keep us in,
I'll keep you
as well. All right. Jeff Spencer. He is the owner, operator of Just Jeff's, and it's become a Columbia institution here now with the location on the business loop. And I want to give a quick shout out to your staff. You got some people that have been working for you for a long time.
Oh, my goodness. I don't have an employee that's been there less than a year. The name stops at the door. It's them and my wife standing back there, 7 to 9 of them every day in that kitchen, putting out that food like that, making that delicious food.
All right, I'm going to ask you our question that we always ask at the end of these interviews. Give me the name of somebody else here in town, another local restaurateur or chef that you think's doing a great job.
I'll have to go to one of my go-to restaurants, and that's Murray's. I just went there last week. I now live out of town. I don't get to go there, but those guys, that's just amazing. The atmosphere, I just love it.
Very good. Jeff Spencer of Just Jeff's. Thanks for joining us this morning. Jeff, it's great talking to you and a really honor. And best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.